Hi folks, Mike here from Random Acts of Cooking. It's a beautiful day in northern Arizona. Sun's out, it's about maybe 75, 78 degrees out. I like cooking outside, I like the pit barrel cooker, but I wanted to see if I can improve it, the cooking temperature control, so I've bought something to install and let me show you. I got the PitmasterIQ, I think it's a model 110. It's the least expensive of the few that they had on their site, so it's a start anyway. Alright, let me show you how I install it and get the coals set up and do my test with the temperature probes and everything, so stay tuned. Installation is pretty straightforward. We're going to remove the damper that came with it and put on the damper that has the attachment for the rubber hose. If you can see, I don't know if it'll show up, but it's got a curve to it, so when it goes onto the barrel, it'll more conform to the sides. Plug the hose into the replaced damper, hang the controller, plug in the temperature probe, route it through one of the rod holes, plug power into the box. Version 1.7. Fan is cycling. For now we're going to start at 175. The damper is going to be on number 2. Per the instructions, they say use about a half the amount of coals in the chimney you would normally use. This little shorter chimney holds about 30 to 32 charcoal briquettes, so I'm going to use 16. Let's go ahead and put the rest of the charcoal spread out evenly in the basket. We'll go ahead and lower that inside. Got my newspaper on the bottom. Let's get the charcoal lit. Okay, we have our charcoal basket with the coals getting pretty warm in there, so let's get these inside. I'm just going to spread the coals on top of the basket, spread them around. With the coals in, I'm going to plug the PitmasterIQ back in, go through its startup sequence. Alright, the light's flashing green, which means it's low temperature, so let's get the rest of this together. We're just going to be cooking air today to test this out. The PitmasterIQ probe goes in right there, and for the purposes of this test, I'm going to use 3 different temperature probes. I got my oven probe, and we have our 2 barbecue probes. I don't know if you can tell on direct sunlight, but both of those barbecue probes, one's at 30, or they're both 138 degrees. Now let's get this set up for a cook. Put the rods in and put the lid on. Alright, we'll come back and check it in about 15 minutes. I decided to be a little more realistic, and I moved the temperature up to 225. Right now it's showing a red light, which means it's high. So we'll see if that gets if that actually goes down. The fan's not running right now. That's why I have the damper at 2 to keep this mostly closed. So let's see what the other temperature probes do. According to the 2 sitting on the grill from here, it's 212 degrees, so it's not quite high for 225. The one on the lid says it's just a little over 200. I have to open it to see the one on the inside, but it's only been like 5 minutes, so I'm going to give it a little, another 5 or 10 minutes. It's been just a shade over 15 minutes, and I don't know if you can see this, but both of the probes on the grill are 194. I have a solid green light on here. The set point is 225. The fan's not running right now. And the green light says I'm within, I think, plus or minus 10 degrees. So that'd be 215 to 235. In reality, I'm about 15 degrees lower on the grate. The lid temperature is just 50, maybe about 190, 95. Now let me pull out the one that's inside and see what that says. This one kind of matches the one on the lid. It dropped down a little bit, but it's about 192. 190 also on this one. These two are reading the same. This one's reading about 15 or so, or 15 to 20 degrees higher. Well, let's give it some more time. Be back in a half an hour. Okay, it's been another half an hour. We're holding at about 200 degrees on my two probes here. The lid temperature is about 210. Controller, if you can see, it has a green light. The fan's not running right now, so that means it thinks it's within 10 degrees of 225. This isn't an exact set point. I mean, you can put it on the numbers, but there's no read back from the temperature probe what it thinks it says. So from what I'm getting, the temperature probe inside for this thinks it's around 225, give or take 10 degrees. So let's take a peek inside. This temperature probe is right at, if you can see it, before it cools down, it's right at 200 degrees. So this one correlates with these two probes. So, all right, I'm going to give it another hour and then we'll come back and see what we're doing. Okay, folks, it's been about 3.5 hours. I got busy doing other stuff. The top one here says 210. My probes say 194 and 203. We still have the green LED, so it says it's within temperature. Still set on 225. And this time I'm going to go inside and look at the coals. This one says 200 and it's hot. I still have a lot of coals left in there. I have no doubt this thing will go at least another 3-4 hours, something like that. But we'll see. I'm just going to let it keep running. Check back maybe in another 2 or 3 hours. Okay, folks, here we are at 6 hours. Still got a green light. Still set at 225. We're at 199, 196 on the extra probes. And I'm going to peek inside again, kind of see what's left of the charcoal. You know, there's still a fair amount of charcoal down there. Part of it hasn't even lit up yet. I'll keep this thing going. If it gets too dark, I'll abandon or at least stop the test. But for now, 6 hours in, I'm happy with the PitmasterIQ Model 110. Oh, yep, the fan just came on because I had the lid open. All right, we'll be back maybe a couple more hours. 8 hours in. My probes 198 and 203. So let's say it's still 200 on the grill. The green light, I've noticed this has been going flashing and then solid green. That's just to maintain the temperature. But what I'm going to do is, because it's been running 8 hours, I'm going to run this up 25 degrees to 250 and see if we can get up the probe temperatures on the inside to 225. All right, we'll see what happens. I'll be back maybe in another hour or two. It may be dark, so I'll have a flashlight. About an hour and 15 minutes ago, I turned it up 25 degrees. My two probes say 223 and 228, so I'm going to average those at 225. Still have the green light on. This is sitting at 250, so there's about a 25 degree difference between what this is saying and what my probes are saying here. So when I use this for a cook, I'm going to have to run this up to 25 degrees higher than what I actually want it. So anyway, I'm going to call this test over. It's getting dark out. I've got my flashlight on, which is right here, so I can see better. Anyway, I'm going to say this is working. To shut this down now, I'm going to close the damper all the way, pull the power plug, and let it shut itself off for tonight. We're up to 220 on this gauge, and the same thing there, about 220 on that one. It's hot. And let's see what we got left in here. You know, there's still a good, at least a third of a basket of coals still left in there. You know, I think this thing would probably burn a good 12 hours, because it's been a little over 10 hours now, and we still have some pretty good chunk of coals down there. All right, I'm gonna end this test with the exception of being a 25-degree delta between my probes and their probe. I'm gonna say this thing works pretty darn good. All right, later guys. Hope this helps you out. So have fun and keep on grilling.